Hey guys, it's Leyla. You can go check out my new song Memory Lane on most platforms, and you're listening to Hank Jr. on Hank's Corner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and, of course, podcasting. And I know I always say that I'm excited about my guest on this podcast, and that's because I am, but I'm definitely even more excited about this particular guest. We are actually going back to the land down under. I've had great artists that have been on here before from Australia, so we're going to do it again. But we are going to break a record here on Hank's Corner. We are actually going to have the youngest artist on here. So please welcome to Hank's Corner, Leyla Sabo. Welcome, Leyla.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Yes, I'm so glad that you can do this. And I mentioned you're from Australia, so you're already on the next day, ready to start. I'm winding down my day, and that's typical of me, that I always feel like I'm behind everything. Everybody else is starting something new, but we're definitely excited to have you on. We got through a little bit of the quirks, making sure that we can do that. But tell everybody, because like I said, you're breaking a record here on Hank's Corner. How old are you?
I am 11 years old. Yeah.
Okay. And so do you get tired of that question being asked? I'm sure that's got to be, something that's asked almost every time.
Yeah, I do get asked a lot. But usually when I'm performing, people ask me because they're just curious in general.
Yeah, because the thing is if I did not see a picture of you or had any information on you and I just listened to your voice, your singing, your songs, there's no way in the world that I would guess that you're 11 years old.
Thank you so much.
And that reminds me, because when I was, well, I guess I had just finished being a teenager, but the teenager of the time here in America was LeAnn Rimes, and she was such a huge success at age 14 that she came out, and she was one of those ones that really belted. She had a different style when she first came out than most people. Does anybody ever compare you to LeAnn Rimes?
Not really, but she was an icon. Like, at that age, she was so good, and she's amazing. I can't even explain it.
What do, or who do people kind of compare you to?
There was someone I had. It was Joss Stone.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I definitely can see that, and you both have the soulful sound to it, and that's definitely amazing. Do you enjoy when people compare you to other famous people like that have made it big and have done really well, or does it kind of get to you and say, well, look, I'm trying to create my own style? Yeah, it's nice that somebody would say you sound like Joss Stone, but this is me, Leyla. I'm trying something different.
a little bit of both. Like, I love it when people say they remind me of someone, because I know those people have worked so hard, and then I feel like I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, But also, yeah, I do want to create my own brand, and build my own brand. But I know that if I'm compared to someone who's working hard, it makes me feel like I'm working hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, on especially early on, getting those comparisons, getting out there, because that may, help, especially in today's world and the way things go viral and social media, that sort of thing. It kind of can help you, put you out on the map. And then once you get out on the map, then, I mean, you're in charge of creating your own style from then on.
Yeah, of course. That's so true.
Now, real quick, I want to talk a little bit about Australia in general, and then versus the United States. Like I said, I've had some great people on this podcast, and from Australia. And one of the questions I always like to ask is, what are some stereotypes that the rest of the world have of Australia that may or may not be true? And then what are some of the stereotypes that you get about the United States of America?
There's lots of kangaroos around, everywhere.
And is that true in your aspect?
They're not in my backyard, but my friend's house, she lives in around us, and there's always kangaroos in her backyard, and they just hop around so casually.
Yeah, because I've talked to like Briana Dinsdale and Ella Powell and Tyler Rodrigues, and they've told me like, yeah, that's one of the stereotypes that we just don't really see much of, I guess, where they are. And then I talked to Sharna Burcher, who's more out there in the sticks, and she's like, oh yeah, there are kangaroos out there all the time, and you better watch out for them because they're pretty violent.
Yeah, they can harm you, and that's why I don't get close to them.
Yeah, well, I got to visit last year, and I'm trying to think of where it was, but it was one of my travels. We happened to stop in, and it was one of those petting zoos, and the kangaroos that they had there were definitely a lot more docile. They didn't attack anybody. They just loved to come up to you and be fed, and that's all they like to do. So I don't know anything about the boxing ones, and I'll stay away from them. But
Yes, same way.
but on the reverse end of it, I mean, well, first of all, have you been to the United States, and what are some of the stereotypes you hear about us?
No, I haven't been to the United States, but that's somewhere I really want to go because I really want to travel in my future. Like I want to go to lots of places like America and like I don't know, like a bunch of places because I just want to travel and show people my talent. But I have heard that the United States and America have lots of like different fast food restaurants and like big food because I love food, like don't get me wrong. So
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about food towards the end of my podcast because I can't go a show without talking about it. But yeah,
yeah.
definitely here in the United States, there's a lot to choose from because it is such a vast country from one side to the other, and you're going to find whatever it is that you may be looking for at some point. And yes, we do eat a lot more portions than most people, and that's just the way it goes. That stereotype is true. But now that we got that out of the way, like I said, I'm always curious about that. I want to talk about your latest songs because those that follow me know that every Friday I put out my new Music Friday post, and you were recently featured on there for Memory Lane. Tell us a little bit about that song.
Oh my gosh, Memory Lane has such a huge like it's been such a long journey writing that song. I wrote it when I felt like I wanted to give up my talent, like singing, obviously. I wanted to give up because I felt like I wasn't good enough and I felt like I was getting like bored of it and I just didn't like have the strength to practice, but I knew that I needed to keep going, which is the lyric, like keep on blooming, like keep going. And I feel like that song has just progressed so much from when I started writing it because it started as a song called All I Am and it was like really chilled back. And then I went to my coach and she helped me like elevate on it and we started writing more and putting more emphasis into it. And then once we went to the studio, we changed the lyric. And then the bridge was like, take a trip down memory lane. And then that's when we found out the title was going to be Memory Lane. And it was just such a like huge journey.
Yeah, and I think Memory Lane has a nice little catchy title to it, and like I said, the lyrics themselves are really good. But man, your voice is just awesome. So for those who haven't heard it, yeah, let's go ahead and play Memory Lane here on Hank's Corner.
I was gonna give up all I have, but then I got up and realized it's all that I am. So I play the piano, I sing till it flows. I built up my wall, why would I let it all go? I know it's hard, but you gotta stay strong. In your head they're screaming, till I do it all wrong. Take it all back to the way it was. We're finding our way and we're here because we're blooming. Yeah, we're blooming. Find another way to keep on walking. Don't let it fade away, keep on shining cause we're blooming. Yeah, we're blooming. If I could go back and make up my mind, I would've kept on pushing. It's only a matter of time. They say that I've changed. They say I'm a fool. Well, maybe they're right, but I make my it was. We're finding our way and we're here because we're blooming. Yeah, we're blooming. Find another way to keep on walking. Don't let it fade away, keep on shining cause we're blooming. Oh, we're blooming.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my special guest in Australia, Leyla Sabo. And you just heard Memory Lane, her latest song that's doing really well out there. And, the second section of my podcast, I always like to talk about, your story, the artist story. My tagline is documenting life's moments, and that's what I want to do. Now, at 11 years old, I know your story is not quite as long as maybe some other ones, but you do have a story, and we definitely want to hear that. But of course, I got to do the part that I always do right before that, which is to play two truths and a lie. So that way I get to try to guess, what part of your story may be true and what may not be. So if you would like to play, here's how it goes. You're going to give me 3 statements, 2 of them being true, 1 of them being a lie, in any order. And by the end of the podcast, without trying to trick you up to give it away, I'm going to have to try to guess which is which.
All right, cool. Do you want me to start now?
Let's do it.
All right. The first one is I have never been overseas. Second is I have 2 cats. And third is I don't eat meat.
Okay. So you said that you've never been overseas, that you have 2 cats, and you don't eat meat. Now, a lot of times when I do the 2 truths and a lie, people give me things that on all 3 of them, I kind of hope that are true. In this case, I'm kind of like, well, I hope you don't necessarily have cats because I'm a dog guy. But and then as far as the eating meat, I'm like, oh, I'm a meat guy. So it's going to be a little bit tricky in reverse this time to kind of figure out which one's true and which one's not. So, people at home, they always like to play along, and we'll figure it out at the end. But Leyla, let's talk about your story. When did you start getting interested into music just in general? And then at what point did you say, hey, I kind of want to do this, as going towards a career path?
Yeah. Well, I have a really musical family. So I guess ever since I was born, music has been surrounded by me. And when I was in my mom's room, she used to play music. And I guess the vibration somehow made me a musical person. But I've always loved singing. Before I could talk, I used to hum tunes and make my own little melodies. And I started doing singing lessons, I would say in 2019, 2018. I was around 5, but yeah, I'm not good at math, as you can tell.
That's okay. I got to count on my hands and fingers too. So
yeah, I know, real. And then I did singing lessons, and then we stopped for a while because of lockdown, and it was all online, which really shut me down. But then I started to get more into it, and then my mum used to play music around me, and my uncles both play guitar, and one of them sings. So it's always surrounded by it, but I always wanted to do it myself. And then I started doing singing lessons again and got back into it. And I've always loved music, and I don't want anything to change it.
Yeah. And, you talk about the singing lessons, and, I'm curious. I've asked this before with different people. How much of it, and it may be hard for you to quantify, but how much of your ability to sing is natural, and how much of it is, being coached? Because I have to guess that a lot of that's got to be natural.
I think most of it is pretty natural. It's just when I go to singing lessons, my coach helps me figure out things to change in the song. And she also helps me, she co-writes for me, Amalia Foy. She's amazing.
And that's awesome that you have that natural talent.
Thank you. I just love it, and I want to pursue it.
And you talk about been listening to music. I mean, obviously, you said through your family, and then even further back in your mother's womb. But what were some of the early singers and songs that you used to listen to that you really liked that influenced you? And does that actually influence your style today?
Yes, I think so. This might be a bit like weird, but I'm not really into new music. Like, don't get me wrong, new music is like amazing because it's music in general, but I love old music. I love Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, and like most of all Aretha Franklin, because that's where I got my soul and blues from. And the way she can express herself on stage without speaking and just using her voice is such a magical talent.
Yeah, and that's awesome because those are definitely some great singers, some female powerhouses. The only thing that makes me cringe when you say that. So, like I've had, people of all ages. Like I said, you are the youngest, but when people usually talk about the older music, it's typically going back to the 50s and 60s and that type of thing. And when you say old, I was like, man, I'm already in college by the time some of these songs came out. So, but that's quite all right. And so it's definitely some great singers there. And so does that actually influence how you perform, or is it just strictly what you feel as a person, or do you draw on some of that?
I don't know. I feel like I can relate to so much, and I feel like my voice just represents soul and blues and pop. I'm learning a song called "When You Believe." I've already learned it, but when I started learning it, I listened to Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston sing it, and then I watched the video film. And the way they show their emotions and the way they like use their body to represent their emotions and feelings, like it just shows a big impact on how I perform.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the songwriting, because you said that you write songs. Do you remember the first song that you wrote?
Oh my goodness, that would be so long ago. My first song that I released was Hard to Breathe, and I recorded that at the song store with Barb and 80, but I've changed to Julian Schwetzer. Is that how you say it? Julian Schwetzer. He's so good. And the first song I wrote was Hard to Breathe because my dog had just passed away. So I wrote it so you could relate to anything, like anyone. It's not specifically about a dog, but you can relate to anyone that they don't have to need to pass away, but they can just be like out of your life and you could have just departed from them, if that makes sense.
Right. So you're saying that Hard to Breathe, which is what you've released, was the first song that you wrote.
Yeah, I think that was the first song that I started, that's when I started getting into songwriting. But before that, I used to just put down lyrics and I used to play simple chords on my piano. But it wasn't like that big of a deal until I realized I could actually write like how I did like in Hard to Breathe.
Yeah, and why I'm so amazed, because I've had almost 160 episodes here of Hank's Corner, and when I ask that question, almost always that when the artist does remember the song that they first wrote, they usually say, yeah, but you're not going to find it anywhere because that's not my style, or something along those lines, that you may have to dig really hard to find it. For you to actually have your first song out there, I mean, that's pretty great. That's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily my first song, but I've had like other songs that I wrote, like little songs, but they weren't as big as Hard to Breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that still is awesome. So I think now's a great time to play Hard to Breathe here on Hank's Corner.
It's hard to do this, but it's getting late. Pain in your eyes, too much to take. This final corner is where it ends. This last breath we won't forget. Your love to me was like a perfect breeze. I think about you when it's hard to breathe. Why did it end so quickly? Why did you love so deeply? Why did my heart stop beating with yours? Oh, how could something be so perfect? How do I feel so worthless now that you're gone? It's getting to me, just standing here in a crowded room, trying to hold my tears. I'm sad you left us, but we had no choice. Oh, my best friend, now you are gone. Your love to me was like a perfect breeze. We said goodbye, you don't know what that means. Why did it end so quickly? Why did you love so deeply? Why did my heart stop beating with yours? Whoa, how could something be so perfect? How do I feel so worthless now that you're gone? Why is my bed so empty? Why are you not here with me? Why was it your time to go? I'll never know. Why did it end so quickly? Why did you love so deeply? Why did my heart stop beating with yours? Oh, how could something be so perfect? How do I feel so worthless now that you're gone? Why?
Welcome back once again to Hank's Corner. You're here with my special guest, Leyla Sabo. I'm Hank Jr., and you just heard Hard to Breathe. Definitely a great song. And, I still am shocked a little bit that, that's one of the first songs that you wrote, and definitely your first, full production to do that. I can only imagine what's going to be coming out in the future with you. But let me ask, when you write this stuff, obviously sometimes it's personal. Do you have any issues with putting something out that is personal to you? Do you struggle with that at all, or you're an open book?
I feel like I'm an open book. I feel like whatever's happened in my life, I can share with people. And if they don't relate to it, obviously you can't relate to everything I sing because it's only happened to me sometimes. But if they can relate to it, great, because I want them to feel something. But if they can't, I want them to try their best to feel something. And with my voice, I hope that you can feel something without even knowing what the story is. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. Yeah. And I think it's hard sometimes for people to, put something out that may be personal, but for you to be able to do that, I hope you never lose that ability. Now, obviously, as you go through some of life's things and you have to deal with life's challenges, you're going to write some stuff that is going to be personal to you. But in general, I hope you, continue to be an open book, because I've always found that the artists that do that, I just feel much closer with it when they say that they shared it from their personal lives, as opposed to, well, I kind of teamed up with somebody else and we just kind of wrote something that we, thought would be good. It definitely means much more when it, comes from the heart.
Yeah, I love writing music from the heart because I feel like it's something I can actually relate to. And yeah, funny story, I've always actually been really confident because my mum used to, when I was really young, 4 or 5, she used to tell me to go pay at the register to get my confidence and build up my inner self.
Well, that is an awesome idea, and I wish I had done that with a couple of our kids, because they are all teenagers and above now, and a couple of them my teenagers, they still don't like to do things in public, and I wish I had done some of those tricks that your mom said.
So good. It just sometimes depends on the generation as well.
Yeah, that definitely does. And I want to talk a little bit more about the writing and the music process. When you write a song, do you come up with the melody first and then try to add words, or do you do the words and then go to the melody?
So what I do is first I like think of the emotion I'm feeling, and then I like pat down some lyrics, but like really rough. And then I go to my piano and I think of chords. Like if it's going to be an upbeat song, it would probably be like a higher range. But if it was like sad, slow, like I would like use lower notes, lower keys. And then I would just play chords and then put the lyrics to the chords. And then if it turns out good, I'd keep it, but always like edit it after I write down what I'm like gonna finish.
Yeah, and I'm curious, and it's a little different if you're, some of the country artists that I've talked to, because they're a little bit more definitely, playing the actual instruments. But how many instruments, do you play, and do you ever use, like with modern technology, some of the programs out there to make that music for you, and how does that work?
Yeah, well, my producer like plays the instruments for me on my songs, and my coach does too. On Memory Lane, she laid down the piano for me, but I always start writing the chords and then I show them what I have, and then they build up from it. But I do play piano. That's probably my strongest instrument. And then I've just started learning guitar, which is really good. And I got the music scholarship at my school as well. So I'm getting free guitar lessons soon next term.
Yeah, well, congratulations with that. And, reading your bio, you definitely have, some awards that have come out there. Tell us a little bit about that and your accomplishments.
Yeah, I did. I do have 4 awards. I won Take the Mic, and then I won Terry Talks. I also, for my first song, Hard to Breathe, I won an international singing competition, Song Academy, which is a really big achievement of mine. And what was the last one that I won? Knox Factor, which was really good because I got like loads of prizes, which was really cool. I even got like a free recording studio session, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like I said, at 11 years old, such an accomplishment. Can't wait to see what you're going to be doing in the future. Now, as you go through, I mean, obviously, almost everybody's probably got way more experience than you. What do you take from them that you hope that you can, keep as you progress? Like what advice have you taken and say, well, I want to make sure that I'm doing this or that?
Yeah, like while I go by, I listen to like people's advice, and whatever they say, I like take it in. And if it doesn't work for me, I leave it aside, but I always keep it with me, just like to always identify what I could use. And then like my parents obviously have a big impact on my confidence and my life, and they give me lots of advice. But even though they didn't like really deal with it when they were younger, my mum used to sing, so I guess she can kind of understand, which is cool. What's the best piece of advice? Oh my goodness. There's honestly been so much advice I've taken in. But, probably like connecting to the song, and like don't worry about the perfection of it, but just connect.
Yeah, definitely stay true to what you do. I know I've heard a lot of people say that, as you try to put your music out there, you're going to have people, whether it's producers or record companies or whatever, that are going to try to mold you into something different. But, I like that advice to connect to that song, connect to what you're doing, and to be true to yourself. So I will definitely second that advice. It's definitely good.
Thank you. It's really good advice, and it really has like an impact on what I sing, because I feel like when I can connect to a song, it doesn't really matter if it's perfect or not. It's just always about the connection.
Yeah. And, being 11 years old, as far as the social media aspect of it and a lot of the stuff that, that comes to promoting, how do you handle that? I mean, obviously you got, a manager that, works for you and helps you through that. But at the same time, you want to make sure that, what you're thinking about as far as your brand is put out there. So how does that dynamic work? Because obviously you have to be careful when you're out there online and social media.
Yeah, like I love to build my brand and show people what I'm capable of, but also like following trends, like to gain more people's attention, because obviously with trends, people like want to follow on and want to like stay in the loop of what's happening. But also I like posting polls, like asking if you want me to do this, if you want me to do that, and see what people's opinions are. Because if people are more intrigued like in what I'm doing, they'll want to come watch, and they'll be like, oh yeah, Leyla's doing that tonight, why don't I join? Like trying to keep them in the loop.
Right. And what does your, what, things do you have in place to help protect, like I said, does your manager, make sure that, they're guarding you? Because, I mean, obviously, like I said, social media is not all good. We just want to make sure that, how do you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, well, she's definitely like cautious of what I'm posting, and like I don't really, I don't know. There's lots of cyberbullying online, but it's mostly not like, I don't know really how to explain it. I haven't really had issues with cyberbullying and my like career, but I think it eventually will come. And when that stage comes, like I'll just like know that I need to stay in my own lane and not listen to what the other people are saying.
Yeah, well, that's good that you are grounded and you have that good support system with you to do that.
Yeah.
And now, I can't put it off much longer, but I'm going to have to go back to the two truths and a lie. And now I'm going to have to figure out, which one's true and which one isn't. So you told me that you've never been overseas, that you have two cats, and you don't eat meat. So now I'm going to try to figure out which one. So I know you said you haven't been over to the U.S., and I'm just going to piggyback on that, whether it's correct or not, and say that you've never been overseas. So that is true. I'm going to say that you don't eat meat and the two cats is false.
Yes, that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 4 dogs at home, and I love them so much.
All right. Well, I was kind of rooting for the dogs, and tell me, what kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 chihuahuas, and then what's Pepper's breed? Chihuahua and Papillon. Chihuahua and Papillon, and then I have a dachshund, mini dachshund, but she's a bit bigger than a mini dachshund. She's a sausage. Sorry, I was gonna say, what dogs do you have?
So, well, right now I do have a lab, chocolate lab, but I did have a dachshund for many, many years. That was one of my favorite animals I ever had for 14 years. He was definitely a stubborn dog in a good way. He was tough. He got hit by a car, attacked by a dog, and even to the end, he didn't want to, pass away. He wanted to keep fighting, but he was my friend through and through. I'm so sad that he's gone, but I do like dachshunds, and like I said, I got a lab now, and I'm glad that you are a dog person. And I'm so I've never been obviously to a Leyla Sabo show, but if somebody were to come, what should they expect from one of your shows?
Lots of humor and get ready to cry. Like, don't wear too much makeup because I'm very emotional and I'm depressed. Not in that way. But like depressed with my music. Like I'm not like a big pop girly, but I do like sing pop style. And even sometimes when my pop music is like upbeat and stuff, it still can be depressing and sad. But I love singing slow music and sad music because I feel like I can connect to it more.
Yeah, and I love that, honestly. I mean, obviously, one of my biggest genres that I'm a fan of is country, and that's evident by the people I've had on my show. And there's always some good, party and country songs, but I love the ones that are really tear jerkers. And so I'm definitely looking forward to, seeing one of your shows maybe one of the days, because I don't mind to, have those sad songs that just, make you emotionally raw.
Definitely. Totally. I love like it feels like such a cleanse when you let everything out. You feel like you're just renewed.
Love it. And we're almost getting close to halfway through the year, but what does the second half of 2025 look for you?
Oh my gosh, I know this is like a really big milestone, but I believe I can make it happen. I really want to like have my own launch. I'm about to release my new song called Don't Underestimate Me. And that's a bit more of a contrast between Memory Lane and Hard to Breathe because it's very upbeat. Like not very, but in the middle, and it's pop. And it's still like a revenge hate song, But I do have so many other songs like down in my notes, and I'm looking through that now. There's so many songs, and like you need around 7 or 8 to have your own original single launch. I do want to do that, but I also want to have like a single launch, a separate, just for one single that like stands out the most to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's something I really want to achieve.
Well, we definitely hope that you have that success in 2025, and we'll definitely be looking for it. Of course, be sure to send that music to me. Send over the cover art so we can, when the time comes, post it on the New Music Friday post. We love doing that. We love supporting music artists, and can't wait to hear some of that good music.
Yes, cool. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped for everything that's going to come up.
Well, Leyla, it's been great talking to you. I definitely enjoy it. Thanks for coming on. And hopefully one day, like I said, I'll get to be able to see you. But in the meantime, if you ever want to be a guest on Hank's Corner, you're more than welcome to.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you guys for joining.
You say you love me, but I know it's a lie. You hide the truth behind the mighty disguise. You are the criminal with dazzling eyes. You took me by surprise. Oh, troublemaker, got your head in the game. You think you know me, but you're going insane. Oh, you'll be crying when they know my name. Those little boys, they never change. Oh, I can tell by your personality. You got an itch for individuality. But honey, you ain't got no originality. There's one thing I want you to know. No, I ain't messing around. Nothing's gonna up my sleeve. Used to give in, but now I'm making a scene. All eyes on you. Wait, no, it's all eyes on me. 'Cause that's just the way it was always meant to be. Don't underestimate me. You talk too much, but you don't know how to preach. Sorry, not sorry, now my phone's out of reach. Yeah, yeah. You say you got the modest touch at defeat, but baby, this ain't church. So take a seat. Oh, I can tell by your personality. You got an itch for individuality. But honey, you ain't got no originality. There's one thing I want you to know. No, I ain't messing around. Not just gonna up my sleeve. Used to give in, but now I'm making a scene. All eyes on you. Wait, no, it's all eyes on me. 'Cause that's just the way it was always meant to be. Don't underestimate me. Checkmate, didn't see it coming, did ya? Thought you'd win, but I'm 3 moves quicker. You played your turn, but I know the score. Just wait and see, baby, what I have got in store. You got your head in the cloud, dreaming of what we could be. Used to like you, but baby, cheat is a cheat. All I